everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, it's Jay, and welcome to my channel. And I'm back from a 2-week hiatus. That's right. No, the last video I filmed was my feelings about the Fantastic Beasts year possibly being completely done. If you want to go see how I reacted, you can find it on my channel. It's the last video I did. It's the last main video that I did, I'll say that, because I have been doing a lot of YouTube shorts, mainly Harry Potter ones. I don't know why, I've just been getting into shorts a lot. I think they're just cool little fun ways to keep your channel updated and to do little videos that they're more creative in a way because you can do more abstract things with them, and I love doing that sort of thing. Like I did a Harry Potter one where I made a chocolate frog move. It was quite fun. But I've also done a few Did You Know? So I've been starting to find Harry Potter facts and putting them together so you guys can know a bit of trivia. Like one to do the Marauders. I told you guys how Dumbledore could see Harry under the cloak of invisibility. You might want to go check that one. And then I also did you know that Newt Scamander made a brief appearance in one of the movies? If you want to know what one, go check out my shorts. And before we get to the video, I want to say a massive thank you to you guys because I've gone up to 170 subscribers. I've nearly gone up 100 subscribers this year because I started this year with just 73. My main goal was to make videos that I like and grow my channel. And it turns out I'm doing that. Except for those of you that subscribe and then unsubscribe. You're a muggle. You can go away. So if you genuinely want to subscribe to me, then please do. I would love an early Christmas present of getting over 100 subscribers this year. It would be amazing. So let's see if we can get me to 175. Let's just push it to 5 because that would get me over the mark and that would be brilliant. So if you like this content that I'm doing, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and let's go. You like this setup? I think it looks very magical. Okay, so the first theory is that Ron and Hermione are meant to parallel Harry's parents. Excuse the way I say things, I'm Scottish and I failed English. I wouldn't have failed any of my classes at Hogwarts, I will tell you that right now, but maybe potions because Snape terrifies Snape. So there's a shared theory that Hermione and Ron were more than just Harry's best friends. As an orphan with no relatives to teach him the world ways, Harry should have turned out a lot worse than he did. However, Ron and Hermione made sure that wasn't the case. Ron taught Harry about the wizarding world like a father would have, and Hermione behaved as a conscience to Harry as a mother would have, combined with the fact that Hermione was a clever muggle-born like Lily, and Ron was a snarky pureblood like James. This theory holds itself up reasonably well. I'll agree with that. I agree that, because in the books, Ron is more of Harry's way into the magical world, because obviously Hermione's muggle-born, and I know she's read a lot about things, but it doesn't make sense how in the movie she knows more than Ron, so they kind of gave more of Ron's lines to Hermione if you read the books. So in the books, Ron is basically telling Harry everything is his gateway, and I get how Hermione is a conscience to them and tells and reminds them, you can't do this, you can't do that, we need to think about this, you need to think about that. I can totally see how they're supposed to parallel Harry's parents, because without them, he wouldn't have bloody survived first year without Hermione or Ron. He wouldn't have survived first year without them. He probably would have got killed by the troll. Not gonna lie, he probably wouldn't have made it that far. But yeah, I can totally see, and I approve of that fan theory. What do you guys think? The second one is Dumbledore hoped Harry would develop an Obscurus. Okay, now we know about Obscuruses because Dumbledore's sister, Ariana, was one, and in Fantastic Beasts, there was one as well. I don't know if I want to say his name. Well, the movie's been out long enough I can say it. Aurelius Dumbledore, who was Credence, is also an Obscurus. So, let's see what it says here. An Obscurus will develop with a young witch or wizard when they become overly fearful of showing their powers. The concealed magic then turns inwards, creating a parasitic being that ultimately proves fatal to the host, which is true. It's theorized that when Dumbledore placed Harry with the Dursleys, he knew they would not tolerate Harry's magic. We know that. They don't want him talking. They don't even want him talking about magic. They don't even want him talking about Hogwarts. So, since Dumbledore was well aware of that, those conditions could create, it makes sense that it was part of his plan. Of course, Harry had no choice but to live one of Lily's relatives to remain protected, so it's possible Dumbledore just knew the risk was the only way. So, like the theory saying that Dumbledore was willing to risk Harry becoming obscure in order to keep him safe, because obviously he had to live with one of Lily's parents. He had to live with Lily's sister. He had to live with them. It's the only relative he had left. But the way that, if we're going by the fact that all this stuff's canon, which obviously Ariana is, but with Fantastic Beasts, we don't really know, because there was none of mention of this in the books about his brother having a kid and things like that. Maybe they just don't bring it up. But going by how all that's canon, I don't see why Dumbledore would want to put someone else through that, going the fact of what he went through with his sister, and then what he went through with Aurelius. Like, I don't understand why Dumbledore would want to put that on someone, especially like a Muggle family as well, where if Harry lost control, what would have happened? Like, he would have those deaths on his hands. And I know that some people like Dumbledore and some people don't, but I personally don't think that he would want Harry to become an Obscuro, because he needed him to defeat Voldemort anyway. But maybe it would have been a way that but then that would have probably led to a whole other thing where Harry didn't have his powers. Voldemort did somehow come back, because obviously he made the Horcruxes, so he was still alive, and then without Harry, the world would be a dark, scary place. It's kind of like a cursed child thing. But I don't personally agree with that. What do you guys think? Do you think Dumbledore would have want Harry to become Obscuro or not? Let me know in the comments. I personally don't think so, because I don't see why he would want to inflict that pain on anyone else. Was what he went through with his sister and then obviously his nephew. If I've spoiled Secrets of Dumbledore for you, where have you been? The third one is, as Master of Death, Harry can break the Elder Wand. Now this is where we all get controversial here, because we know in the books he was supposed to put it back in the grave with Dumbledore, but he broke it. So let's see if this theory rounds that up nicely, shall we? Or if it's just going to be a load of poppycock. A major frustration with the Deathly Hallows movie was Harry decided to break the Elder Wand. Many fans expressed their outrage, stating that it would not have been easy to snap the most powerful wand in the world. But someone shared a theory that changed their minds. Since Harry had been the one to reunite the Deathly Hallows and was therefore the Master of Death, yes, true, he might have been the only one who could break the wand. Since this never happened in the book, it's hard to say if this theory is true, but enough fans on Ranker believe that it is at least satisfied with what I've considered a significant plot hole. Right, so because Harry had the Cloak of Invisibility, he was a master of the Elder Wand, and when he went into the forest he had the ring. So basically he was a master of all three at that point. So when he died as well, he could probably come back because he was Master of Death. You can't tell the Master of Death to die, can you? It's like, are you going to die, Master of Death? No, I'm not. I'm the Master of Death. I don't have to die. But having all those means that he could break the Elder Wand, which is understandable if that is the case, but we don't know because it was never confirmed. I don't think anyone thought about asking JK this question. I don't think... He could break the wand. It's his wand. It's just stupid. Why would you break the wand? Like, no one else could use it but you. So you could just stick it back in the grave with Dumbledore. No one could use the bloody thing because you're the master of it. It would not answer to anyone else but you. I still think it's stupid that they had him break it. I'm sorry. I think it's very stupid. I get why they did it, because it break the wand. No one else can go after it. No one else can use the most powerful wand in the world. But I still think it's stupid. Like, don't break it. I'm undecided on that. Just because I have mixed feelings about it. So, the next one is Dumbledore protected Hogwarts more than anyone knew. Okay. Dumbledore received a lot of See, I can't... I'm not... My brain was far off in distant places when I was in English class, wishing to be free of it. Dumbledore received a lot of criticism from fans for the casual way he endangered his students' lives. Between a series of murderous Defence Against the Dark Arts teachers, Forbidden Forest, and concealed killer magical beasts, it seems the headmaster should have shown more concern rather than just give the Harry Potter characters life lessons. Still, one theory might explain why he barely lifted a finger. Okay. The editor Lyra eventually pointed out that although several students should have died due to risky events at Hogwarts, no one ever did while Dumbledore was headmaster. The survival of several students seemed to only come down to luck. A possible explanation is that Dumbledore used some powerful spell when he became headmaster that keeps anyone from dying on the grounds, but only he knew about it. That's very clever. There was a lot of things that people should have died. The Basilisk, for instance, but they only got petrified because they didn't really look it directly in the eye. Everything, like Troll in a Dungeon, people should have died. Like Dementors, people should have got their souls sucked out. Goblet of Fire, they had dragons everywhere. Order of the Phoenix, that could have easily been invaded by Death Eaters and things as such. Yeah. No one really died at Hogwarts, and until Dumbledore died at the Astronomy Tower, and then the Battle of Hogwarts happened, and everything went to pot. I know they put protective spells around it and everything else, but people died after Dumbledore died. More people died after Dumbledore died. So that makes sense. Like how Dumbledore could have used powerful magic to create a defense where students were not allowed to end up dying while they were at school. That makes really good sense, actually. Because no one really died at the school until Dumbledore died, but you cannot put Moaning Myrtle on him because he was not headmaster. That was Dippet was headmaster. So Myrtle died before Dumbledore became master, so she wasn't protected by the spell. I'm likely to agree with that. What do you guys think about that one? I could go with that, actually. These fan theories are so cool. Like, honestly, like, I love this thing. It's so cool. So the next one is, Dumbledore intended Harry to fail at occlumency. What? As clever as Dumbledore was, it made little sense that he would have expected Snape or Harry to make any effort during their occlumency lessons. Well, you put Snape and Harry in the same room, it's not going to turn out very well. Therefore, it could have been that the man with the plan had something else in mind. The theory that Dumbledore knew all along the occlumency lessons would cause Harry to further open his mind instead of closing it. He may have hoped that Harry's teenage emotional impulses would slowly affect Voldemort, causing him to make an uncharacteristically, you know what I'm trying to say, please say you know what I'm trying to say, or do I need to put a subtitle? Irrational mistake, like going to the Ministry and revealing himself. Oh, right, okay. So he knew that Snape and Harry's occlumency lessons were not going to go well, but we all knew it wasn't going to happen. Like, we know Snape is probably the best person to teach Harry that, but you put him and Harry in the same room and nothing's going to come out of it. But he was hoping the more Harry broadened and opened his mind with the lessons, that how Harry was feeling more like Voldemort, like angry, like he said, seriously feels angry all the time, mood swings, everything like that, that the same would be reflected onto Voldemort, and that Voldemort would start making irrational decisions like a teenager, like a stupid decision like Harry always seems to make. I get that, but in theory, Voldemort is more powerful than Harry, so I can kind of imagine how, yes, they're linked, but Voldemort would be the more dominant one because he's older, he's more powerful, whereas Harry is still going through the teenage motions and has all these feelings, and yet I don't think he would have the power to overpower Voldemort, if you get what I mean. So I get what they're trying to say with that theory, but I don't think so. I get in a way maybe he was hoping some of Harry's things would rub off on Voldemort, like maybe like understanding love and friendship. We all know Voldemort's not capable of that, so I'm gonna give that one maybe a miss. So I could be wrong. The next one is Harry and Ron were powerful seers. Okay. Harry and Ron had very little interest in divination, primarily due to the teacher, whom everyone could recognise as a fraud. They say that. However, had they been learning under someone more qualified, they may have realised they had a natural aptitude for the subject. Redditor Miss Salafresh believes that Harry and Ron were seers that both suppressed the summoned up skill of Professor Trelawney in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. The two tried to devise as many brutal predictions as possible for their homework while laughing off the ridiculous nature of the subject. True, they did do that in the books. However, each of the predictions for Harry's future came true. It did. When I'm reading this, it did. He was in danger. He was in danger of burns in the Triwizard Tournament. Stabbed in the back by the imposter Mad-Eye Moody. Like, well, not really stabbed in the back, but you know what I mean. Like, you know what I'm trying to say. And killed in the forest by Voldemort. So Ron's prediction from the book was correct. Ron could be a seer. That's really. I would have to look more into that to believe this theory. But if everything Ron said came true, the fact that he was in danger, stabbed in the back, and killed, they were all true. Could Ron Weasley be a seer and we don't know? That would be so cool if he was. Like, we all know he clearly wasn't. But I'm going to give that a maybe. I would have to do more research on that myself just to. But I like that theory. Cedric's body didn't have to touch the portkey. Okay. Another plot hole the audience noticed in the Harry Potter series was Harry bringing Cedric Diggory's body back with him through the portkey. In every other instance, a person could only be transported if they touched a portkey. So you have to be touching the portkey as a human to use it. However, the book clue describes how Harry had grabbed the cup with one hand and Cedric's body with the other one. Redditor the Molotov Ginger shared a theory that could fill this hole in a more heartbreaking way. Oh no. When a wizard uses a portkey, any object they are touching comes with them. Clothes, bags, you know, I mean. Therefore, since Cedric's body no longer had a soul, it was only an object, not a person. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, but it's true as well. That is good. That is good. That is thought provoking, sad, and very interesting. That how, because Cedric died, obviously he doesn't have a soul. He doesn't really use the body. The body's now just an object. Harry can touch it and take it with the portkey. So Cedric's body didn't have to touch the portkey to go back because Harry had him. That seems likely and very true. I like that one. It's sad, but I like that one. For Cedric, I still cry every time. I still cry every time he brings his body back. It still makes me cry. It's not fair. Poor Cedric. Harry could have controlled the basilisk. Well, seems a given, because he can speak Parseltongue, but see. In Chamber of Secrets, Harry was able to gain access to Slytherin's secret chamber because he gained the ability to speak to snakes with a fragment of Voldemort's soul that latched onto him. However, when he faced with the basilisk itself, Riddle made it clear that only the heir of Slytherin could control it. One Redditor felt this didn't make sense, and almost 1,000 fans on Ranker agreed. Since Harry had a part of the heir's soul in his body, the basilisk should have recognised him as another heir. Therefore, if Harry had only tried to tell the beast what to do, fans agree that it probably would have worked. That is very true, because Harry obviously had a piece of Voldemort in him from when he tried to kill him as a child. If he is Voldemort's last Horcrux and he has Voldemort in him, surely the basilisk would see that in Harry, and Harry could control the basilisk if he tried. But I think because Tom got there first and was saying to Harry, Parseltongue won't obey you now, Potter only obeys me, and then in the books it's like, oh, he's the heir of Slytherin, only it's the McGonagall says it's a beast that only the heir of Slytherin can control. Harry thinks he can't control it because he's not the heir of Slytherin, Voldemort is. But if the basilisk could see into Harry and see that he had Voldemort in him, would the basilisk respond to Harry? That's the question as well. That is very clever, actually. I agree with that. I think if Harry had only realised this sooner, the basilisk obviously would try, and the basilisk might possibly obey him. Very true. I like that one. The Hallows resurrected Harry. Okay. After Voldemort used the killing curse on Harry in the Forbidden Forest, Harry woke up in a world that looked like King's Cross with Dumbledore to greet him. The professor explained that Harry had lived because Voldemort had used Harry's blood to create a new body, but Redditor Whippetgood felt there was more to this. The fact that Harry spoke to Dumbledore after being hit by the curse implies that Harry really was dead. However, since he had the loyalty of the Elder One, Resurrection Stone, and Invisibility Cloak, he was the master of death and could choose his fate, either carry on to the afterlife or go back. It is unclear if this is what Rowling intended, but with over 1,400 votes, the theory is a safe bet. See? What did I just say earlier? I said that Harry could control his own fate. Like, he could. You're the master of death. You want to die? No. I can pick if I want to come back or not. Dead. And because obviously Voldemort killed his last Horcrux, like it did kill Harry, but he killed himself. Voldemort killed himself, so that's why Harry was also able to come up, because Voldemort killed that part of himself in Harry. He didn't kill Harry. The sort of way that Voldemort made the Horcrux is that it kind of protected Harry in a way as well, which is insane. Like, it protected Harry from dying because Voldemort destroyed himself. Because when he killed Harry, he killed his own soul. His soul was done. It wasn't Harry's soul, it was his soul that was done. I agree with that theory very much. The Dementors had a stronger interest in Harry than others. Well, duh. Really? Do I really want to read this one? I think I should, just because I'm saying duh, but then I'm probably like, oh yeah. In Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry was frustrated and embarrassed by how he involuntarily reacted to the Dementors. Lupin explained that since he had expressed so much pain in his lifetime, he was a prime victim for the creatures. While this made sense, audiences like Redditor There's Bear felt it wasn't a perfect explanation. Since Harry was a Horcrux for an eighth of Voldemort's soul, it means that instead of having just one like everyone else, Harry had 1.125 of a soul. Therefore, the Dementor would have been extra interested in him, as he would have proven even more of a male. Likewise, since Voldemort only had 1/8 of his soul in his body, he may have been more resistant to their power, even without a Patronus. True, because Harry would have Voldemort's soul in him, so he'd be a lot more darker. Like, obviously he's lost his parents and he's gone through a lot by third year, but not, I don't think a lot to justify the Dementors coming after him. So maybe that is true, that Voldemort's soul was more of a cause for the Dementors to come after him, because obviously Voldemort's soul is dark, gruesome, evil, and the Dementors feed off unhappiness, and Voldemort's probably been unhappy for the majority of his life that he's been alive, because he was never loved. He was conceived under a love potion. He doesn't know what love is. He's never had friends. The only friends he has are Death Eaters, but they fear him and just want him for safety and like a way to guarantee they won't get killed, because they're loyal to Voldemort, so Voldemort will help them. So having Voldemort's soul, a piece of Voldemort's soul in Harry, would attract the Dementors more due to the darkness of it. Because Harry, when you think about Harry, like all the memories he has up till Prisoner, he goes through a lot, but there's also a lot that he has happy memories for, so that it kind of almost balances itself out or cancels out the negative. But obviously having that one part of Voldemort in him makes him more attracted to the Dementors, because Dementors are, ooh, evil, dark things that we like to have. I kind of agree with that. I'll agree with that. And that actually was the last theory, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. What was your favourite theory out of this list? If you have any of your own, leave them in the comments. Start a trend, start a thread. Let's see if we can have lovely open discussions. Please don't be mean. If you think someone's theory is bollocks, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. And if I find any bad comments, they will be deleted, because I can do that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you want me to keep making more Harry Potter content like this, hit the like button, subscribe, see if I can get to 175, and give me an early Christmas present of adding over 100 subscribers to my channel. That would be amazing, and I would love you guys so much. And I will see you in another video. I promise I won't leave it for 2 weeks again. And in the meantime, I'll probably upload more shorts, so check out my shorts on my channel. I really like making them, they're fun. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.